right, everybody on the line. I've got Lynn Mettler, entrepreneur and travel journalist. Welcome to the show, Lynn. Great to have you on.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on to talk about travel.
Does this work internationally? Because you're in the U.S., I'm in Canada. I can tell you, there's a lot. I don't know how much you know about the trucking industry, but here in Canada, probably 50 to 60% of the trucking industry is South Asian. We've got a good relationship with India and all of these places. And so they're here. And a lot of them will truck for like half the year and then they will go home and they will fly their families back and forth. And,
That's perfect.
at first I
Mhm.
wasn't thinking of that because that's not the world I'm in. But, once I got thinking about, our talk today, I'm going, there's a lot of people who probably this would be really beneficial for because there's a lot of people doing that. I know companies say, no, some of our drivers, they leave and they go for 6 months or 3 months and then they come back and they work and because they only want to work in the summer or whatever it might be. So does it work internationally? Can I go anywhere in the world or can I only go where Southwest flies in North, US?
Right. So no, yeah, it definitely works internationally. They don't fly. They do fly to the Caribbean and Costa Rica. Like we flew them to Costa Rica last year. And to Mexico, but they haven't, darn it, they haven't flown to Canada yet, though they keep talking about that. And they don't fly to Europe or elsewhere around the world. So you do have to employ a different system. But so I teach us the simplest way, I think, you basically use flexible travel points to book any airline you want to wherever you want to go. So for example, we just booked flights, I guess it's been a while now because it's almost time to go, but to London for spring break. And so obviously what I did is I used Southwest to get to New York City, because it's always cheapest if you're flying to Europe to fly out of New York City, or most of the time it is, so that you're going to pay the least per flight. And so then we're actually flying Virgin Atlantic over and then Delta back. And so I've booked all of that in points. For three of us to go. And so I usually say, with the system I teach, you could do Europe or something international every other year. You're not going to fly first class. So, like, my system is not about first class and lie back seats and glasses of wine.
I was just going to ask you that. I go, am I in the cargo hold?
You're not in the cargo hold for sure, but you're just in regular economy, right? So you're not uncomfortable, but you're not in luxury either. But the way I look at it is the trip isn't about the flight over, is it? Surely not. It's where you're going. And if you're going somewhere you couldn't have traveled because it was out of the budget, or even you could use what you would have spent on that for other things, like a lot of my people say, we didn't have to pay for flights. So then we were able to splurge at the destination and do a tour or go to a nice restaurant that we wouldn't have done otherwise because we didn't have to pay for flights. Or better yet, you could invest that money or save that money or who knows, right? All kinds of things you can do with extra money. But
Very
so
cool.
yeah, it works.
Yeah, that's great. I didn't realize. Now I know you've got a course, so I don't want you to give too much because I'm sure you want people to sign up for the course. But just to give people an idea, because a lot of times we think points are for certain things, like we can get a gas card here and you get gas, but you get gas points only for the gas. You can't book a flight if you've got a Petro Canada card. You can buy windshield washer if that's what you need. So how do people accumulate the points? Like is could a thinking of a truck driver, if they're and we'll just go with a self-employed truck driver, the owner operators, because the trucking companies wouldn't pay for fuel. But let's say I'm an owner operator. I travel around the country in a truck. I may possibly buy fuel on my card. I'm certainly going to buy meals, possibly some repairs. Where, can I get a card for that kind of stuff? Or is it just a general, credit card that you would normally use and do that? Or
So what I really like and what is the key to simplicity here, is that you focus on a system that earns flexible travel points. And that just means you can use their points to book multiple airlines. You can use them to book hotels. They might have their own portal where you can book things. So like my two favorites are the Chase Ultimate Reward System. Capital One also has a good system, but other ones your listeners might be familiar with would be Amex. They have a flexible system. Citi's another one. And so, for example, and it's a great if you like have your own business and you can push through expenses like that, you can literally use your business expenses to fund your family's free travels. It's amazing. So yeah, since you would need to buy a lot of fuel, right? You would want to look for a card that earns the most points per dollar on fuel. So for example, Chase Ink Business Cash, I think that one earns 5 points per dollar. It definitely earns an elevated amount per dollar on fuel. So, like, that might be a great choice for an owner operator truck driver to push their fuel expenses through. And they could push all the expenses through that too, just for simplicity's sake, because it's going to earn Chase points, and then Chase points can be moved over to Southwest if you going to fly in the US or the Caribbean. If not, you can use their points in their own travel portal to book any airline. You can transfer them to Hyatt to book an all-inclusive. So you can see like it's very simple, really. It's just focusing on that one system, and they have multiple cards within that system, but collecting points in that system and then kind of moving them where you need them to go. And then we do a lot like another big point would be that's a benefit of Southwest is they have what's called the Southwest Companion Pass. And there's really nothing else like it in the airline industry. So as long as they maintain that, and they're making a lot of changes right now, but they haven't indicated that they are going to do away with that. But basically, it allows you, once you earn this pass, and there's a very easy way to do it, you can bring one person with you for free on any flight you want to take on Southwest from the time you earn this pass till the end of the following year. So this is March 2025.
Right.
So if I earned a pass right now, it'd be good through December of 2026. Grab your seat.
Thank you very much, Lynn. Really appreciate your time today. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Bruce.